It's time for our news bulletin right here on Luntha TV. And you are with me, Patrick Pupa. First, the headlines. Pope Leo XIV encourages faithful to pray the Rosary Day. Outgoing President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera pledges smooth transition and support for Malawi's progress. Political analyst calls for credible cabinet, urges focus on rebuilding Malawi. And in international news, Uganda's Electoral Commission clears Museveni for the election. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. Pope Leo XIV has invited the faithful to join in praying the Rosary every day during October to invoke God's gift of peace, and announces a Rosary in St. Peter's Square on October 11 as part of the Jubilee of Marian spirituality. Catholics across the globe will unite to pray the Rosary for peace in war-torn lands, especially during the month of October, which the Church dedicates to the Holy Rosary. Pope Leo XIV made the announcement at the Wednesday General Audience. We have a Vatican News report read by Fales Kizombe.
Pope Leo has invited everyone each day of the coming month to pray the Rosary for peace personally, in the family and in community. He also invited Vatican employees to pray the Rosary daily in St. Peter's Basilica at 7 o'clock p.m. throughout October. In his greetings to Portuguese pilgrims, Pope Leo lamented the runes wrought by murderous hatred. He invited Christians to share with others the love of Jesus that illuminates and lifts up humanity. The Rosary for Peace will be held during the Jubilee of Marian spirituality, which takes place on October 11th to 12th. That day also marks the 63rd anniversary of the opening of the Second Vatican Council, which Pope St. John XXIV opened on October 11th, 1962.
Former President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera has considered defeat in just-ended election and congratulated Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika on becoming the 7th President of the Republic of Malawi. In his national address, Chakwera thanked Malawians for their support during his 5-year tenure and pledged a proper transition of power. Emmanuel Chocha reports.
Chakwera thanked Malawians for trusting him into government for the past 5 years. He has assured Malawians that his Malawi Congress Party will work hand in hand with the new government to ensure the country's development and prosperity.
Our platform for success in the future. But I believe that what matters now is for all of us as Malawians to work together as one nation to make Malawi better, because that's how we will be winners, all of us, in the end.
Some members of Malawi Congress Party, MCP, recently held a number of press briefings claiming victory in the just-ended elections. During one of the press briefings, Vitumbigo Mumba, who was the party's running mate, insisted that MCP had won the polls.
Unconfronted and unexposed. This is because they hinge so much on discrediting the credibility of the election. Koma tiuze mtundu wa Malawi kuti panali ma presiding officers ena komanso ma constituency returning officers ena amene pakali pano ena ayo 8 agwidwa kale ndi apolisi.
The Malawi Electoral Commission has declared Peter Muntaliga as the 7th president of Malawi. Muntaliga was voted out of government in 2019 presidential general elections. For Luntha News, in Lilongwe, this is Emmanuel Chuocha.
Economic expert Happy Chirwa has said Malawi's stability after the September 2nd general election will depend on how the new government decides its economic policies. He stressed that the winning party's manifesto must now be turned into practical measures that support businesses and create opportunities for citizens. Chirwa observed that favorable policies will encourage Malawians to start and sustain businesses, leading to increased production and GDP growth. Judith Ogan has found this report, read by Gift Kalonga.
Chirwa warned that poorly designed policies could hurt the economy by slowing business activity and driving inflation. He pointed out that when businesses are disrupted, poverty levels rise, undermining the very hopes citizens attach to electoral promises. Chirwa urged the new administration to create a business-friendly environment that empowers Malawians to operate sustainably.
Policies that have been all over, I'm always worried that our policy that we bring in, normally they slow down business people. So my expectation is this time we should expect the policy that will help many Malawians to start businesses, operate in a very good environment, sustain their businesses. Once that is taking place, we should expect that there will be growth in general. Because if many are involved in a production, they expect that there is a growth in the GDP.
The expert further noted that Malawi's economic future lies in expanding opportunities for entrepreneurs and ensuring supportive policy framework. If citizens are allowed to fully participate in production and trade, the nation will experience long-term growth and stability. He emphasized that avoiding inflationary policies and focusing on strategies that strengthen small businesses will be critical for improving livelihoods. According to him, prosperity for the masses depends on consistent policies that promote innovation, investment, and private sector participation.
As the Malawi Electoral Commission MEC is yet to officially declare Peter Muntaliga as the duly elected president following the September 16 polls, a political analyst has urged the presumed incoming leadership to prioritize credible governance and national restoration. Political analyst Joe Chaima emphasized the need for the winning candidate to form a capable and trusted cabinet that reflects the will of the people. He noted that the support shown at the ballot box signifies public trust and hope, and that this confidence must be met with the servant leadership and sound decision-making. More details in this report by Charite Chiranga.
Chaima highlighted that the previous administration's failure to address the core needs of Malawians contributed to its downfall. He advised the incoming government to prioritize listening to citizens with a focus on improving the quality of life for both urban and rural communities. Among key issues raised were the high cost of living, which Chaima noted had significantly worsened, and the need to restore stability in essential sectors like agriculture. He stated that the agricultural system has been compromised and requires agent strengthening to support food security and rural livelihoods.
Listen to the needs of Malawians. He must hear the outcry of Malawians. He has to prioritize the social system of rebuilding the lives of ordinary people in the villages, in the rural areas, in towns, even in the cities, because this government that is gone has missed a big time. So I think you have seen there's a huge gap between the way Professor Mutharika and DPP control the prices of commodities in the country. He has to look at that. He has also to look at the agricultural sector, which is completely compromised. He has to make sure that that area is a strength.
The analyst further called on the incoming administration to take a firm stance against corruption, describing it as a pervasive issue that has eroded public trust in government. He urged for investigations into officials involved in alleged corrupt practices, not as an act of political vengeance, but as a means of restoring integrity in governance. Chaima also suggested that recovery of misappropriated public funds could play a critical role in supporting development efforts and rebuilding trust between the government and the people. While acknowledging the challenges left behind, he also pointed out some positive achievements by the outgoing administration, including infrastructure development such as road construction in various cities and towns.
The Malawi Electoral Commission (MEC) will announce the final official results of the presidential election at 7 p.m. today. According to MEC's spokesperson Sangwani Mafrirwa, the electoral body was supposed to announce the final results at 2 p.m., but he has shifted to 7 p.m. Meanwhile, incumbent President Dr. Chakwera has already considered defeat while still calling on MEC to look into his party's complaints on alleged electoral irregularities. Education expert Lexon Ndalama has called on the incoming government to prioritize addressing challenges in the education sector, including teachers' shortages, lack of learning materials in secondary schools, and limited access to universities. Speaking to Luntha News, Ndalama noted that the outgoing government made notable strides in the education sector, which he urged the incoming administration to build upon. More in our report, filed by Gift Kalonga.
Ndalama acknowledged the progress made by the outgoing government, highlighting increased enrollment rates and expanded infrastructure across all levels of education. He noted that about 94% of school-age children are now enrolled in primary schools, while the number of secondary schools and universities has significantly grown compared to 10 years ago. Preschool enrollment has also improved, rising from 35% to approximately 45%. Ndalama also said that despite these gains, several challenges remain. In preschool education, access is limited, while primary schools, especially in rural areas, face a shortage of teachers. In secondary education, nearly 30% of learners in community-day secondary schools lack necessary learning material, and laboratories remain inadequately equipped. At the tertiary level, a considerable number of students who pass the MCE still lack access to public universities, highlighting the need for student loan support for vulnerable students.
Tertiary, we still have quite a number of students who pass MSCE, but who don't get space in the public university. So government has to focus on making more strides in increasing space in tertiary education, more especially looking also at the loans for those vulnerable students who are not able to pay university loans, which are now high. So,
meanwhile, the education expert has urged the incoming government to implement policies that would build on past achievements and address these critical gaps to strengthen Malawi's education system. For Luntha News, this is Gift Kalonga.
And finally, in international news, Uganda's Electoral Commission has cleared octogenarian President Yoweri Museveni to seek re-election in polls due to be held early next year, which could extend his rule in the East African nation to nearly a half-century. A former rebel, Museveni has been credited with the stabilizing Uganda, promoting economic growth and combating HIV and AIDS. We have a Reuters report read by Fales Kizombe.
But critics denounce Museveni government's suppression of political opponents, human rights abuses and corruption scandals. After seizing power in 1986, Museveni said the problem facing Africa was not its people but leaders who want to overstay in power. Now Africa's fourth longest ruling leader, Museveni and his government have amended the constitution twice to remove age and term limits, allowing him to remain in office. The 2026 election is expected to once again pit the 81-year-old incumbent against his chief rival Bobi Wine for the three, a singer who has leveraged his pop stardom to galvanize a large support base among young voters.
With that story, we have come to the end of our news bulletin right here on Luntha TV. But before I go, top stories once again. Pope Leo XIV encourages faithful to pray the Rosary Day. Outgoing President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera pledges smooth transition and support for Malawi's progress. Political analyst calls for credible cabinet, urges focus on rebuilding Malawi. And in international news, Uganda's Electoral Commission clears Museveni for the election. Bulletin, and this has been Patrick Pupa. I wish you a lovely time. Keep watching Luntha TV, and bye for now.